Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to cover a little bit of a different kind of video. I'm going to be covering a Christian fundamentalist news site. I was introduced to this by tweets from Ken Ham. If you don't know who that is, do a quick Google search before you watch the rest of this video because it can get a little funny. But anyway guys, so stay tuned and find out what I'm covering in today's video. Okay guys, so like I've said in a few of my videos, if you ever want to kind of follow what arguments I get into, my Twitter, which is down in the description box, is the best place to follow me on because that's usually where I get into a lot of my arguments with Christian fundamentalists. And a lot of them end up under like Ken Ham's post, especially since Lori blocked me on Twitter. But I've noticed like Ken Ham will like tweet out these random, very clickbaity type articles, and I noticed that most of them come from this website called LifeSite, Lifesite. And so I started reading some of these because I was like, there's no way that these things are like true or like accurate. Because the first one that really caught my attention was this one called Mom Solves Daughter's Mystery Illness. School nurse secretly inserted birth control implant. And I'm actually going to cover this article in today's video, but I really want to talk about this news site. So I pulled up LifeSite's About section. So they were launched in September of 1997. I have my computer set up right here in front of me, so I'm going to be reading directly from their site. I'm going to also add this in the description box just in case anybody wants to at me. It'll be linked in the description box. You can go read it yourself. But they say that their principles are accuracy and content is given high priority. News and information tips from readers are encouraged and validated. Valid corrections are always welcome. Writing and research is of a professional caliber. Well, obviously that's not necessarily true because I pointed out, as I will again when we go over this story that I'm going to cover today, that there's no way that a school nurse can insert this birth control because it's tracked via serial numbers and has to be placed via a medical professional in a controlled environment. A school nurse is not going to have the instrument to place that type of birth control in an arm. Plus, they're not going to deliver that type of birth control to a high school or a junior high or any kind of school for them to have access to that kind of birth control. But I'll get to that in a minute. But they also say in point number 2 that the emphasis of social worth of traditional Judeo-Christian principles. So it is skewed to Judeo-Christian principles. Hence the reason why Ken Ham posts so many of these news articles. The point number 3 is founders have come to understand that respect for life and family are endangered by international conflict. That conflict is between radically opposed views of the worth and dignity of every human life, of family life and community. It has been caused by secularists attempting to eliminate Christian morality and natural law principles, which are seen as the primary obstacle to implanting their new world order. So, again, it is Christian skewed news. Shocker. It says understands that abortion, euthanasia, cloning, homosexuality, and all other moral, life, and family issues are all interconnected in an international conflict affecting all nations, even at the most local levels. LifeSite News attempts to provide its readers with big picture and most useful and up-to-date information of its conflicts. No, you attempt to skew news on these topics with Christian-based information. So it goes on. It says the funding primarily on the donations of generous readers to maintain its free service. It also has paid advertising programs. Guarantee they are all going to be big Christian funders. Anyway, so we're going to get off of that section and actually get down to the story I wanted to cover. So I'm going to be covering mom solves daughter's mystery illness, school nurse secretly inserts birth control implant. Now, this is from October 3rd of 2019, and they said this was in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, I've only heard of this story from this news article, but moving on. A mother is furious after discovering that her 16-year-old daughter's headaches and soreness were caused by a birth control implant inserted by a school nurse without her consent. Nicole Lambert was shocked to learn from her daughter's pediatrician that the pain her daughter was experiencing had been caused from a tiny tube containing the contraceptive Nexaplon, which had been improperly inserted into her daughter's upper arm. Not only did the doctor recommend that the tube be removed to alleviate the child's discomfort, but he further warned that the contraceptive could cause far worse side effects such as blood clots. Okay, so let's stop there. All contraceptives, birth control methods do have side effects such as blood clots, but this type of contraceptive, I had a friend that had it implanted when we were teenagers because she had had a child at a young age. It is implanted in this section of the arm. It has to be implanted by a trained medical professional, which most school nurses do not have that training. Again, it is another one of those that it is tracked by a serial number. You have to go in and have that section of your arm x-rayed to make sure that it's in the proper place. Every so often, my friend actually ended up rupturing hers because we played softball and she had gotten hit in that area and it had ruptured, so she had to go in and have it surgically removed and placed into a different place because of her physical activity. But I digress. Moving on. The mother was quoted as saying, "I actually started crying because just to hear that your child, anything could happen to your child and you don't even know what's going on. It's a scary feeling. I actually went to the school. I was furious. I was so mad. So I went to the school and the nurse told me I don't have to talk to you about absolutely nothing." It's a double negative. That doesn't even sound right. I'm like, that is my child. I take care of this child. You can talk to me about my child. One, a school nurse does not have doctor-patient privilege. The school nurse has to tell you everything. A school counselor has to tell you everything about your child. They don't have these, privileges where they can't tell you what's going on with your child. They don't have those HIPAA protections over them. Moving on. And they put me out of the school. They call me for Tylenol, but they don't call me about birth control, continued the concerned mom. You gave my daughter this insertion so she might be suffering from that, but do they even look at that? And that's another thing. My son suffers from migraines. I have it written out where they can give him Excedrin. They still call me about he has a headache. Can we give him this? It's on his medical form. Give him the damn medicine. they can't put something foreign in your child's body. So this did not happen. This is totally made up. Other kids out here could be going through the same thing and their parents don't know about it. And I just think these kids, if they have it incorrectly or what it is, they should be checked, because anything could happen to these kids, she added. Disturbed that her daughter and others could, without parental notification, undergo such an invasive medical treatment that comes with potential serious side effects, Lambert hired attorney David Linyard to investigate. Ms. Lambert wasn't given the choice to pick the medical provider where her daughter would feel comfortable going and receiving these services, who she knew did a comprehensive medical exam, who she knew her medical history, Linyard explained. Okay, and see, here's another thing. I don't know what Maryland's laws are. Some states, children at this age, which her daughter is 16, can go to a Planned Parenthood or whatever they call it in your state or your area and choose to get birth control or those kinds of services without telling you. So it is highly likely that this child went and got birth control without telling her mom and could have lied on this school nurse to her mom. We do not know. There's no transparency in the training or certification for school health centers. Linyard told PG Media. School health center? No. Are they looking at the medical history of the students and doing full workup before implanting these devices? What is the certification process and training of the nurses? Lambert's daughter attends Digital Harbor High School, which is home of one of the Baltimore City's 17 school-based health centers, SBHC for short, several of which offer birth control to students. According to Baltimore City Health Department, 164 students are using birth control provided at school during the 2017-2018 school year, including oral contraceptive pills, Plan B, Depo-Provera, NuvaRing, and Nexaplan. Maryland's health code states a minor has the same capacity as an adult to consent to treatment for or advise about contraception other than sterilization. Minors are also able to consent to treatment for or advice about drug abuse, alcoholism, venereal disease, and pregnancy, as well as to consent to physical examination and treatment for injuries from or to obtain evidence from an alleged rape or sexual offense. So right there, that child could have gone to this medical center where there are trained professionals, gotten consulted for some type of contraception, went ahead, had it done, not consulted with her mother, and had it done. According to the PG Media's report, the surgery to remove the Nexaplan implant from Lambert's daughter also entailed removing skin and tissue damaged by the device. Although the Nexaplan implant was inserted into her daughter's body without Lambert's knowledge, the doctor could not remove it without Lambert's consent. So that is the end of the article. But again, as you can tell, they started this off by putting everything on the school nurse. But then at the end, you see that there was actually a medical facility that was on the school property that had trained professionals there. So we get the true story. And by Maryland's laws, the daughter did not have to consult with her mother to have the procedure done. She could go and have it done and not have her mother's consent. Now, with everything, you can have bad reactions to it. Not all contraceptives work for everybody. When I was on birth control, I had to change birth control a couple of different times to find a birth control that worked for me. And my daughter was actually a birth control and condom baby. I was on birth control. My ex-husband was wearing a condom, and I still got pregnant with my first daughter. So, yes, they're not always 100% in the contraceptive department. So it does sound like this child got consulted with these medical professionals, decided to go with the Nexaplon. It did not work. Her body did not jive well with this foreign object in it. She's having to have it removed. And now her mother is in an uproar. Why was I consulted? Blah, 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 blah. Well, state law says you don't have to be. Your daughter is of the age where she can go and have it done by herself without consulting you. But LifeSite wants to take this nice Christian view and say, because of this, they're taking family values out. They are letting this child be sexualized, and they're not letting the mother be a part of her daughter's decisions. No, the daughter's of an age where she can make the decision on her own, and her mother doesn't have to be consulted. Welcome to the world. Anyway, guys, I'm pretty sure I do have some other articles saved back that are going to be from this website, and I guarantee you there will be a few more that will be thrown toward me. Actually, I can go ahead and tell you right now. Let's see here. I have 5 saved back so far that are just LifeSite, and it does look like I have a few from a few different other places, and I need to do some research on those. But I have 5 LifeSite articles already saved back to do videos on, so that might be a new thing for us. It's just these Christian skewed articles where we have to just kind of dive in and see what's fact and what's not. And just like this article says right here, school nurse secretly implanted. It's not a secret if the daughter is of an age where she can make the consent to have it done. The daughter is of an age. She went and consulted, had it done. It is not a secret. So there we go. That article's debunked. That's a clickbait title right there. It's just to get people up in arms. And here's an addition to that. They have it titled like for tags. The tags are news, abortion, and contraception. There's no abortion in here, guys. None whatsoever. It's just a way to draw people in. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, ring that bell. In the comment section down below, let me know what you think of this article, of this news site, and also of this new idea for videos. In the description box down below, I will have this article and the About section for LifeSite News linked so you guys can go and read for yourselves what I am talking about. Also, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my email will all be linked down there in the description box. So if you want to, you can reach me out on any of those platforms. That's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.